Krishna. Welcome everyone for coming for this evening program. Hope you are all happy in your lives. If you are happy, then you have to express that by saying very well. We are getting habituated slowly, looks like. So today we'll be discussing on a topic, success formula for a leader. So leadership, these are very commonly used words in our society. Everybody wants to become leader. And you are studying in IIT, so definitely you like to be a leader in the society in some way. So today we will try to discuss the formula, the success formula for a leader. Once one gentleman came to a village and asked one villager, that in your village leaders are born. The villager replied, in our village only children are born. So you think that leaders are born leaders. It's not like that. Anybody can become a leader provided he follows the process to become a leader. So who is a leader? So we try to analyze by using the word leader as an acronym. Leader. So L means lead by values. E, eager to learn. A, accept responsibility. D, deal with respect. E, extend helping hand. And R, ready for feedback. So these are the qualities, principles to become a good leader. So we'll try to analyze each and every aspect. All the time is limited, but we'll try to discuss as much as possible. So first is, a leader should live by values. There are two kinds of leadership: value-based leadership, position-based leadership. In the hierarchy of leadership, there are different levels of leadership. Position-based leadership is at the bottom, lowest level of leadership. Because at that level, leaders derive their authority from their position. And that is very hollow, and that is very temporary. Because position may be there, position may not be there. Right? Today you may be a king, tomorrow you may be a beggar on the street. Position always changes. So therefore, those who work under a leader who is a position-based leader, why they stay with that leader? Because they don't have any other choice. As long as there is no choice, they will be there. But if they get another opportunity, they will immediately leave that leader and go to other leader. But value-based leadership, the leaders don't get authority from his position. They derive their authority from their character. values. And why people love to work with them? Because that leader has character. So therefore, value-based leadership is very, very high level of leadership. And today's discussion focuses on that kind of leadership. We'll be discussing on value-based leadership, not position-based leadership. But the whole world is filled with position-based leaders. The greatness of a person has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. So generally, the character of a person is tested in provoking situations. We have seen in our histories, many great personalities became victim of provoking situations. Why? Because they don't have that kind of value system. So therefore, in order to be a great person, people think they have to achieve great things. Achievement is the focus. They have a lot of money, so they become leaders. They have big positions, they become leaders. But ultimately, if you really want to be a leader, you should have character. It doesn't mean that you cannot have position. Position can be there, that's not a big deal. But the foundation should not be the position. Foundation should be the character or values. Character versus competence, attitude versus achievement. So generally, in the modern era, people are focused on competence and achievement, talents and achievements, skills and achievements, right? The education system is made in such a way that we become very competent, we become very skilled, and we achieve something great in this world. That is the focus, right or wrong? Nobody talks about character, nobody talks about attitude so much. But nowadays, there's that concept of value-based leadership also is coming in the corporate world. Because they are realizing only by position, only by achievements, they cannot command the respect. In our childhood, we used to learn a principle. If money is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if the character is lost, everything is lost. But nowadays, this principle is also lost. Now what is the principle? If character is lost, nothing is lost. Anyway, nobody cares about character. If health is lost, something is lost. But if money is lost, everything is lost. Money talks, right? That's why money is known as sweeter than honey. Very sweet. Very sweet. That's why the parameter is not the character nowadays. What is the parameter? Success parameter? Money. That's why I say, what is the purpose of education nowadays? Paper. Why? You get exam paper. Then teachers get answer paper. Then you get mark sheet paper. Then you get certificates paper. Good certificate, then you can get good appointment letter paper. Then after joining the job, you get paper, currency notes, the ultimate paper. So purpose of education is to get money. There's advertisement also on the billboards. This institute is wonderful. Why? Placement is guaranteed. You'll get a job. Nobody talks about character, values, this, that. Why? Because the whole system has changed. Another aspect is eager to learn. A leader should learn. Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, used to say, if you stop learning, you become a dead person. A leader learns something every day. And they can learn from anything and from anybody. That is the quality of a leader. Learning versus earning. Okay. Nowadays, we study not to learn, we study to earn. But purpose of study is to learn. Learning. A leader is a reader. That is the common principle. This is a universal principle. Leader is a reader. The successful leaders of the world, they spend a sufficient amount of time reading every day. So if you want to become a leader, then you have to read every day. According to your profession, people should study or read. Then A, accept responsibility. Nowadays, people don't talk about responsibility. People talk about authority. People don't talk about duties. People talk about rights. That is the concept of leadership. Leadership means I should have authority, I should have privileges, I should have facilities. These are the different concepts to be a leader, right? But leader means accepting responsibility. Authority versus responsibility. We like to have authority, but don't like to have responsibility. If anything good is done, who has done it? I have done it. If anything wrong happened, who has done it? He has done it. Somebody else has done it. We always have the tendency to shift the responsibility to others and keep the authority with ourselves. And we are very expert in blaming others for wrongdoings. That kind of person cannot be a good leader. So he's a good leader who focuses on duties, not focuses on rights. Why there is so much fight? Because everybody is right. Right leads to fight. That is the problem nowadays. Everybody is right. My opinion is the only opinion. My way or highway. That's why relationship is breaking regularly. Good leader delegates authority, holds responsibility. But in the modern society, people delegates responsibility, holds the authority. That is called modern day so-called leadership. D, deal with respect. The greatness of a person is not measured how much respect he is getting. The greatness of a person is measured how much respect he is giving. That is the symptom of a great person. Greatness is checked through one's dealings. How to identify someone is a great person? How he is dealing with the common people. How he is dealing with the ordinary people. How he is dealing with the insignificant people of the society. By that you can understand whether he is a great person or not. A great person deals with respect with each and every person of the society, he may be very insignificant also. So dealings are very, very important. So you have to deal very respectfully. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to tell we should be ready to offer respect to everyone, but should not expect any respect from anybody. That is the quality of a great person. But in this world, we love to get respect, but not ready to offer any respect to others. But a leader does not do that. Leader is always ready to give respect and not expect any respect from others. E. Extend helping hand. A leader should be always eager to help. That is the quality of a leader. Nowadays, people are very much selfish. People are thinking what I will get. Nobody is bothered about others. But a leader is always bothered about others. That is the quality of a leader. Ex-President of India used to say, how to become handsome? Extending your hand to someone. Then you can become handsome. Handsome is nothing external. We spend so much money to become handsome, right? To impress others. We think handsome means external beauty. But external beauty will go away. It's temporary by nature, right or wrong? The beauty of the body will go away or not. When you become old, what will happen? It will go away. So there was a lady. Lady was very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And when you are very beautiful, you become very attached to that. So that lady also became very attached to her beauty. But she was growing old. And she wanted to maintain her beauty. And for that, one industry becomes very prominent, cosmetic industry. And she used to spend a lot of money and used to use a lot of cosmetics to keep her beauty intact. She was trying her best. But whatever you do, you have to become old. So she became old and also became very sick. She was hospitalized. And doctor said, there is no chance of survival. Only God can help you. If nothing works, God comes into the picture. So when we become sick, we go to the doctors, right? We go to allopathy. We go for allopathy. If allopathy does not work, homeopathy. If homeopathy doesn't work, naturopathy. If nothing works, Tirupati. So Lord comes into the picture when nothing works. So that lady also got the news from the doctor that nothing is working. Only hope is the Lord. So she prayed to the Lord very intensely. Lord appeared in front of her. He said, what do you want? He said, I don't want to die now. Please give me the boon or benediction so that I can live for a few more years. Lord said, okay, so it will be. She was so happy and excited. So she came back to the doctor and gave the good news. And doctor said, yes, very good. Then she asked the permission to go back to his house, to go back to her house. Doctor said, okay, definitely can go. She was in the hospital, not using the cosmetics. Then now she has to go to her house, so she used the cosmetics again and came back to her original form and left the hospital, crossing the road. While she was crossing the road, immediately one car came and hit that lady, and lady was dead on the spot. And that lady became very upset with the God. And after death, she came in front of the Lord. So, Lord, what kind of Lord are you? Just now, you gave me the boon that I can live for a few more years. But I am dead. What kind of God are you? He said, please forgive me. I could not recognize you on the road because the form I saw in the hospital and the form on the road was different. I could not recognize. So, We may try to cover up, we may try to protect ourselves, but we cannot escape the real truth of our life, that is death. So death takes away everything. Old age makes our beauty. Not what next? Old age makes our beauty temporary and fading. So therefore we should know the flickering nature of this world, temporary nature of this world, and we should focus on our internal beauty. So internal beauty is eternal. So we have to develop that quality, and when we have that quality of extending our health, then we become really handsome. Then the last one, are ready for feedback. Giving feedback is easy, but receiving feedback is difficult. We are very expert in giving feedback, right? You should do this, you should do that, you are not right, you are doing this wrong. So we are very, very expert in giving feedback. But a good leader is very, very careful about giving feedback and ready to receive feedback. So while giving feedback, we have to be very, very careful. It's called sandwich feedback. You should glorify the person first, then give the room for improvement, then again glorify, so that they don't become discouraged. And feedback should be given privately, not publicly. Feedback should be given privately. But we have a tendency to give feedback publicly. So feedback should be given very carefully, and feedback should be given privately. And we should be also ready to receive feedback, because we cannot understand our own shortcomings. We cannot understand our own mistakes. Others can. That's why we should be ready to receive feedback, because feedback is the medium by which we can improve. A leader is always ready to improve. They don't want to prove. Leaders generally in this world want to prove that they are right. If you are always eager to prove, then you cannot improve. That's why you have to give up the tendency to prove that you are right. We have to be ready to become better person. We should be ready to improve by receiving the feedback from others. So these are the 3 principles to become a good leader. Now, how to become successful as a leader? These are the qualities, whatever you have said. So now, how to become a leader? So success is the goal of our life, right? We have to be successful. In whatever field we are, we have to become successful. So success comes from focus. Focus on what? Focus on goals. Survey revealed most of the people in this world don't know what is the goal of life. Because people are so busy solving problems, right or wrong. We are having so many problems. And we are so busy solving problems, we think problem solving is the goal of life. We think like that. So we are so busy in solving problems, we think problem solving is the goal of life. Why? Because we don't know the real goal of life. So there are 2 types of goals. One is primary goal, other one is the secondary goal. This picture shows Arjuna's focus and focus of Hanuman. 2 great leaders. Right? Do you accept or not? Arjuna was a great leader or not? Hanuman was a great leader or not? So they are very focused on the goal. So Arjuna's picture is very, very significant. What was the goal of Arjuna? To become the greatest archer. That is the secondary goal. And what was the primary goal? He wanted to become the greatest devotee, the best devotee of the Lord. That is the primary goal. We should have both the goals, right? As a student, you must have a goal to excel in your academics, but that should not be the primary goal. That should be the secondary goal. But what is the primary goal? To perfect our spiritual journey. That should be the primary goal. And secondary goal should help the primary goal. That is the system. So Arjuna used his archery in the service of the Lord, in the battle of Kurukshetra, and perfected his life. So Arjuna was looking at the bird, right? Dronacharya asked many students and asking, what you are seeing? Students replied, I am seeing the tree, I am seeing the sky, I am seeing the fruits, I am seeing the bird. Different students answered differently. But when Arjuna was asked, Arjuna told Gurudev, I cannot see anything. I can only see the eye of the bird. That is called focus. So you have to be very focused, but nowadays we cannot be so focused because we have so many things to distract our mind. Nowadays, the world is the world of distraction. And one incarnation has appeared. It's called mobile phone. Through the social media, is very expert to distract our attention, focus. It is said attraction is the cause of distraction, and distraction is the cause of destruction. The students of this world nowadays, both India and abroad, are going in a very wrong direction. Most of the students are depressed. Most of the students are feeling lonely. So many students in the hostels, so many students are there in the college, universities, but they are feeling lonely. Loneliness is the greatest killer. Right? Why they are lonely? That is another subject. But loneliness is the greatest killer, and that is happening in the students' lives also. For simple reasons, they commit suicides. Suicide rates are increasing like anything. So there is a boy from IIT Mumbai. He wanted to commit suicide many years back. What was the reason? He became number 2 in the last semester. He never became number 2 in his life. And that was a shocking news for him. And he thought, why to live a life? I became number 2. But there are so many students, they fail in subjects, they are happy in their lives. But this boy, he became number 2 in the exam, and he wanted to commit suicide. Happiness does not come from something external. So there are 3 types of students. First category of student, very regular, very focused, study very nicely, prepare very nicely, and ready for the exam, waiting for the exam paper, happy students. There is another category of student, they are happier. Why they are happier? Because they never went to any class. What to talk about exam? They don't know what is there in the books. And they have firm faith in God. For the firm faith, they are very confident that God also cannot help them to pass. So why to worry? Chill out. That is second category. But who is suffering? In between. That category most of the students are in that third category. So they attend some classes, they prepare not fully, and they become very busy and full of anxiety when day before the exam and night before the exam, because they are preparing, completing their studies. So we cannot be focused if we have that kind of lifestyle. So focus should be on the goals, and focus is the root of success. So focus comes from discipline. Discipline is very, very important. Any life without discipline is not going to give us success. So Bhagavad Gita explains what is the meaning of discipline. Discipline means balanced life. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasya, yukta sapna bhavadasya, yoga bhavati dukkha. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So who is in yoga? We think, oh, those who go to Himalayas, those who go to the forest, they are yogi. But Arjuna is a yogi. And where is he located? On the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So we have a misconception that to become a yogi or to become a devotee, we have to be in the ashram. It's not like that. Arjuna was the king. He was the fighter. He was on the battlefield. But he was a yogi. He was a devotee of the Lord. So who is a yogi? Who is balanced in his life. Nowadays life is very imbalanced. If you eat too much, imbalance. If you eat too less, imbalance. If you sleep too much, imbalance. If you sleep too less, imbalance. So it is said if you sleep too much, you become lazy. And if you sleep too less, you become crazy. That's why we have to be balanced. Prabhupada used to say, we should sleep 6 to 7 hours every day. That is balance. But nowadays, people sleep how much? Long sleeps. That's why what will happen? You become lazy. And because of depression, people cannot sleep also. And less sleep also makes a person crazy. If you eat too much, you become lazy. And if you eat too less, crazy. That's a system. We are suffering. Why? We are suffering in this world because our life is imbalanced. So Krishna is giving a formula that if you lead a balanced life, then what will happen? That will make your life disciplined. And disciplined life, balanced life, will help us to mitigate all material pain. We will be free from pains and difficulties of this world by leading a balanced life. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to say, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the magistrate, he is one of our main acharyas in our line. He used to say we have to divide time properly. The time management acharya. He used to say 8 hours for the body, 8 hours for the soul, and 8 hours for our duties. Time has to be divided in a balanced way. Right? So you have to also know how much time to be spent for studies, how much time has to be spent for your body, and also how much time has to be spent for your soul. When there is a balance, then you will be happy and you can be also focused. So discipline comes from practice. Nothing comes by chance. Right? So how you can become disciplined? Through practice. 3 key words for success. Practice, practice, and practice. There is no alternative. Srila Prabhupada used to say that unless you practice, you cannot get perfection. We all want to become perfect, right, in our own areas. But perfection will come when we practice. Practice leads to perfection. Arjuna, one day, he was eating at night and suddenly light went off. But still he was continuing eating. And after some time, Arjuna recognized that in spite of darkness, I am able to eat. So why not I can practice in darkness? From that day, Arjuna decided, I will not sleep anymore at night. That's why he is known as Buddha Kesha, who has conquered sleep. He used to learn whole day and he used to practice whole night. So Arjuna became Arjuna not because of something mystical happened to him. Arjuna became Arjuna because of his practice. And what is the best time to practice? Early in the morning. Even the scientists are also telling the time 1-2 hours before sunrise is very mystical time, very powerful time. Whatever you do, that becomes very, very powerful that time. So you should do the best things of your day during that time. That's why those who are good singers, they practice singing during that time. Those who are good athletes, they also practice during that time. Those who are devotees, those who are practicing spirituality, they also practice during that time. I heard that you also start practice. You also practice every day from 4:30, right? 4:30 in the morning. That's a very good time to practice things. And practice should be regular. What is the meaning of regular? Regular means daily. Some may say, I am very regular. I practice once in a month. Or I practice once in a year. That is not regular. Regular means daily. Just like we charge our mobile daily. We eat daily. We sleep. So spirituality also should be once in a week or daily. Thank you so much. And practice comes from motivation. Without motivation, we cannot do things. According to Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 levels of motivation. According to the modes. Have you heard the word modes? 3 modes of material nature. Bhagavad Gita explains. Everybody in this world is governed by 3 modes of material nature. Mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. And there is another mode which is known as transcendental mode, pure goodness. 4 levels. So what is the motivation to work at the level of mode of ignorance? Fear. Many students don't like to study, right? But they study. Why? Because of the fear of the parents, fear of failing in the exam. So there are a lot of fears. And out of fear, students study. Even some people practice spirituality out of fear. There was a devotee, he went to the house of his friend. The friend, he claims that he is an atheist. But when he went to his house, he saw he has a beautiful temple in his house. And he does arati and other pujas to the Lord. So this devotee friend was surprised and shocked also that he told him that you always tell you are an atheist, but you are doing puja. Why? So you always told me lies. He said, no, I cannot tell you lies. But I have to be truthful to you. The truth is, I am an atheist. But I have a fear. In case Lord is there, why to disturb him? Offer some arati. If he is there, he will be happy with you. So this is called worship or bhakti out of fear. That is mode of ignorance. Then mode of passion. What is the motivation? Profit. What I will get? मेरे को क्या मिलेगा? That is the motivation. Arjuna at the beginning did not want to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. Right? Why? He was analyzing. What was his analysis? He told Krishna, if I become victorious, nobody will be there to celebrate my victory. Because everybody will be dead. And if I lose, I will be killed. So is the point. fighting. So he didn't want to fight. Why he did not want to fight? Because he was analyzing what he will get. Because he did not find that he will get anything, that's why better not to fight. That is called mode of passion. Literal quote. Most of the people in this world work for personal profit. That is the motivation. What I will get. I work hard, why? Because my salary should be increased. Why I should work hard? I should get promotion. Right? Why I should do very sincerely the business, more profit. Like that. So motivation is what I will get. That is mode of passion. Then, after hearing from Arjuna, Krishna told Arjuna that you should not worry about the result, because results are not in your hand. You should focus on your duty. So, mode of goodness, what is the inspiration? Sense of duty. Why students should study? Because it is the duty of the student to study. Why Arjuna should fight? Because it is the duty of the Kshatriya to fight. Why mother should take care of the children? Because it is the duty of the mother to take care of the children. Sense of duty. But he or she is not analyzing the results. He or she is detached from the result. That is known as Nishkam Karma Yoga. So spirituality really begins when we come to the platform of mode of goodness, when we are not attached to the results. So Arjuna accepted that, and that's why he became eligible to hear the message of Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. So who is the eligible candidate to receive the knowledge or message of Bhagavad Gita? Who is in mode of goodness. And what is the symptom of mode of goodness? Not attached to the result. Detached from the result. Nishkam Karma Yoga. Those who are intelligent, they come to this platform because they know results are not in our hands. So why do we become attached to that results? Most of the people are frustrated in this world. Why? They have a lot of expectations. Results. Expectations lead to frustrations. People are frustrated in this world. Why? Because they have high level of expectation. That's why nowadays people have high level of frustration and depression. Why? Because they have high level of expectation. The boy is thinking that I should have a wife, wonderful wife, with all divine qualities, like Sita Devi. But he forgets that he is not Lord Ram. He is a Ravana. But he expects that his wife should be like that. The girl is also thinking that my husband should be with all divine qualities like Lord Ram. But she forgets she is not Sita Devi. She is Surpanakha. But expectations are there. So when expectations and reality are not the same, the gap between expectation and reality is the cause of frustration. The bigger the gap, bigger is the frustration. But in modern society, gap is very high. Because we don't live in reality, we live in dreams. When you live in dreams, reality is very insignificant. That's why a lot of gap between the expectation and reality. And we are frustrated, depressed. So when someone comes to the platform of goodness, they reduce that gap. Almost nil. That's why they are happy people. So in order to experience happiness in life, the first step is to become detached from the result. Then people say, then why you should work? Why you should study? What is the motivation? Sense of duty. That is the quality of mode of goodness. We have to improve our consciousness from ignorance to passion, and from passion to goodness. And what is the top level of motivation? Pure goodness motivation? Love. Arjuna, after hearing Bhagavad Gita, he told Krishna that I am ready to do whatever you say. So he became detached from his duty also. And in Sattva-guna, the person is attached to the duty, but not attached to the results of the duty. But In pure goodness, he is not attached to the duty also. He is ready to do anything for the pleasure of the Lord, and he is also not attached to the result. That is called devotional platform. So when we come to this platform, then we can experience real happiness in life. And that platform is the highest platform. And that motivation is the highest motivation, topmost motivation. So we have to be motivated. Practice depends on modes. Motivation also depends on modes. But we have to have higher level of motivation, and upgrading our modes is very, very important to come to that platform. And that will happen by the association of high-class personality. Just like Arjuna upgraded his consciousness, upgraded his modes. How? By associating with Krishna. Then motivation. Who will give motivation as a person? It comes from the mentor. The quality of a person's life depends on mentor. That's why you have to choose our mentor very, very carefully. Duryodhan became Duryodhan because of his mentor. Who was the mentor of Duryodhan? How many of you want to become like Duryodhan? Okay, good. So Arjuna became Arjuna. How? Because of his mentor, Krishna. How many of you want to be like Arjuna? Very good. Then you have to choose your mentor like Arjuna chose. So Arjuna chose Krishna as his mentor. And that's why he received the message of Bhagavad Gita. And by receiving and applying that message of Bhagavad Gita in his life, he became perfect. And that's why he became a perfect leader. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samagata Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. So, do you have any questions, comments, clarifications, doubts? You can do that. And kindly switch off the recording now.